It's now time for a member statement. The member from Nepean Carleton.
Thank you very much, Speaker. It is with a great degree of humility that I address the Assembly here on our first day back. It's also the first day back since I ended my leadership bid for the Ontario Progressive Conservative Party. And as a result, I wanted to say thank you to a number of people across the province who have enriched my life and who've given me an amazing experience, and who I wish to say thank you to. I had a group called Mums for Lisa across the province who agree with my stand on choice in childcare, and I want to say thank you to Tracy Skelton of Oakville for doing that. I travelled from Windsor all the way to Cornwall on the 401. I got to go to Sudbury and to Thunder Bay and all points in between. And for any member of the Assembly to have that opportunity is so incredible to see this great province. I have a profound appreciation for every member of this Assembly, and I want them to know that. I have profound appreciation for the Progressive Conservative Party, its members, and the remaining leadership candidates. I received advice from time to time, Speaker, in this leadership bid from many unlikely faces, many from my own party, but also from the NDP House Leader, the Finance Minister, and even my former nemesis, Dalton McGuinty. But, ladies and gentlemen of this Assembly, I want to say to you today how proud I am as a member to be standing here in this Assembly for the fourth time in my career, and I look forward to completing this mandate and running again in 2018. But, Speaker, through you, to all members of this Assembly, particularly to my own caucus and to members of the Progressive Conservative Party of Ontario, I would like to say thank you.
Thank you. Member statements. The member from Timmins, James Bay.
I'm so glad you're staying. Come and give me a hug. I want to bring to the attention of this House the situation with the hospital in Attawapiskat. And just to say that, as you know, just before the new year, there was a diesel spill and a brand new fuel handling system they had installed at the hospital in order to not have these type of things happen again. Well, the impossible happened and this thing spilled, and unfortunately it contaminated the crawl space underneath the hospital in Attawapiskat. Just so that people know, the hospital is fairly new. It's only about 20 years old, and it's a pretty darn good facility considering where it's at. The community in Winnebago have been working really hard, and the staff, I've got to have been working extremely hard in order to try to make a good thing out of a bad, to keep on providing health services in Attawapiskat at a time where they don't have a home and having to, intrude on other organizations within the community. But I got to tell you, the community and the Chief and Council have been very supportive of trying to make this work as best they can. Staff have been working flat out. We're working on a plan in order to be able to clean that facility, the crawl space underneath it. I'd like to report to the House I had a discussion with the minister earlier. He seems more than willing to be able to find a way forward to deal with some of the bureaucratic stuff that we get out of the way in order to allow money to flow so that we can actually start getting the materials in place during this particular winter season, because if you miss the window, you've got to wait till next year, and that means to say we would be out of a hospital in Attawapiskat for another 12 months. So I just wanted to report to the House there is some progress being made. Winnebago, the community, the staff are all working hard at making that happen, and I look forward to continuing working with the Minister of Health, because it looks as if we have some movement in that direction.
Thank you. For the member statement, the member from Etobicoke Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this Saturday, my colleague from Etobicoke Lakeshore, Peter Milchin, and I are going to be hosting the 2015 Government and Community Services Fair at Cloverdale Mall in Etobicoke. This fair is an annual event, and it offers constituents of our ridings and those from communities across the region a chance to learn more about the services offered both by the provincial government but also by non-profit and for-profit agencies that do good in our respective communities, Mr. Speaker. These organizations offer many services that are not always well known to Ontarians and therefore sometimes underutilized by those who are most in need. And I think we can all think of instances where we've helped constituents in our respective communities find local organizations or elements of the provincial government that actually can serve their specific needs. So bringing the fair to the people of Etobicoke each year helps us raise awareness about the services offered in our communities and connects our citizens with important resources created specifically for them. I'm really proud of this event because it attracts over 110 exhibitors from the provincial government, from agencies and from community organizations. And the fair, what it also does, it allows constituents to engage one-on-one with officials, staff and volunteers on issues that impact them, so they can get their questions answered, in many cases on the spot. And this in-person connection helps bridge the divide between the service providers and those relying on on those services. Every year, the fair attracts around 3,000 people who continue to drop by every year. The fair is going to be taking place this Saturday, February 21st, from 11 to 3 p.m. at the Cloverdale Mall in Etobicoke. I'd like to invite all the constituents of Etobicoke Centre to join me, and all of you in this House to invite your constituents to join us in Etobicoke for what promises to be an important event. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Member Stevens. The member from Stormont, Dundas and South Glengarry.
Thank you, Speaker. In mid-January, the Cornwall Police Services received a 911 call from a senior upset about the food she was receiving. The operator was suspicious about the circumstances and forwarded a request for Cornwall Police Services to investigate. The investigating officers found a very sad situation. It turned out to be an elderly couple where the husband was trying to the best of his ability to care for his wife, who was suffering from advanced dementia. The man, too proud to ask for help and faced with increasing financial challenges, could not pay the bills and to put food on the table. In fact, he had to sell his wedding ring of 54 years just to put food on the table for the two of them. The Cornwall police officers and the civilian support staff went well above and beyond the call of duty that day. They quickly began canvassing amongst themselves and not only collected enough money to buy $150 worth of groceries, but they also raised $130 required to purchase the ring back from the local pawn shop. This example of generosity and community spirit from some caring residents of my riding of Stormont, Dundas and South Glengarry not only made the local news, but became news worldwide. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank the members of the Cornwall Police Services D team and civilian support staff who stepped in to help a very needy couple in my riding. In spite of the very difficult job that they are called upon daily to complete, they still have the dedication and compassion to go the extra mile and help a couple truly in need. Thank you.
Thank you. Further statements? The member from London Fanshawe.
Speaker, today I would like to take a moment to express my serious concern for the state of mental health care in London and the province as a whole. Over the past few weeks, I have met with experts in the field that are affected by mental health issues in the community, and they have identified that we are now facing an incontrovertible mental health crisis in London. Last year, my colleague Ms. Sattler and I spoke out in the Legislature regarding the backlog in our emergency rooms of mental health patients waiting for days for a hospital bed. I hope this government and other MPPs have seen the various news articles in the past few weeks that reveal that the psychiatric unit at Victoria Hospital, London is dangerously over capacity. In recent weeks, it has come to our community's attention that this overcrowding is causing a serious safety issue for both patients and healthcare workers. That safety issue also extends to mental health patients who are living in the community. In London, we recently suffered the tragic death of a man living in an unregulated group home that provides housing for individuals with mental health issues. These are vulnerable people living in questionable housing with few supports. People are getting hurt and people are dying. We need a solution, and we need it now. This government needs to take real, effective action on this issue without further delay. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Further member statements? The member from Ottawa South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, as you know, the third week in February is Kindness Week in Ontario. And we could tell this morning in question period that everyone was aware of that. I'd like to recognize Ottawa's Kindness Week today. The citywide initiative encourages community members to choose to be kind and recognizes everyday acts of kindness. Kind Ottawa has become a vibrant movement in our community, and under the leadership of Kindness Week Chair, Rabbi Ruben Volka, community leaders and volunteers from across Ottawa employ their resources, experience and enthusiasm to bring Kindness Week to life in Ottawa. Rabbi Volka was also instrumental in the unanimous passing of the Kindness Week in Ontario in this legislature in 2008. And I'd like to thank my colleagues, Minister Naqvi, MPP Jones and MPP Jelena for handing out cookies this morning. I'd like to thank Jackie Choquette from the House Leader's office, who was kind enough to bake the cookies on the weekend. Et cette semaine, je vous encourage de participer et de.
I would like to encourage you to participate and perform acts of kindness towards your family and your colleagues, and take the time to help others.
We all have the opportunity to create the kind of community that we want to live in. So I would like to encourage everybody, look for opportunities to be kind to other people, and take that opportunity this week. It's very important to do. Thank you very much.
Further member statements. The member from Kitchener-Conestoga.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Today's Ministry of Labour announcement launching public consultations that focus on the Ontario Labour Relations Act provides government an opportunity to finally close the legislative loophole that allows labour monopolies to command local infrastructure tendering. As the review announcement highlights, quote, globalization and trade liberalization as two workplace trends to be examined, we must ensure that examination results in fairness for local contractors to bid on publicly funded infrastructure projects in their own communities. And Speaker, given the review is designed to support government's four-part economic plan to build new public infrastructure, I feel it's incumbent on government to ensure these projects are being tendered fairly. Taxpayers expect their infrastructure to be built with the highest quality work at the lowest possible cost. Much as we predicted, the impacts of closed tendering in my own community of the region of Waterloo and around the province are limiting competition while driving up price for local infrastructure. Tendering restrictions across Ontario are wasting up to $283 million annually. Despite the widespread support I received for my Fair and Open Tendering Act, my aim to close this legislative loophole has yet to be realized. And while I look forward to round two, today I am hand-delivering a letter to the Minister of Labour to A, invite him down to the region of Waterloo, to consult with local contractors and their workers, and to 3, use that opportunity to restore fairness, open competition, and sustainability to our public tendering process. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Further member statements. The member from Beaches East.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. On February the 21st, in the great multicultural riding of Beaches East York, I will be participating in an enthusiastic way in a ceremony celebrating International Mother Language Day. The day was first recognized by UNESCO in 1999 and began as an annual observance in February of 2000 in Dhaka, the Bangladeshi capital. In 2009, this House unanimously passed a motion introduced by my colleague from the riding of Richmond Hill regarding International Mother Language Day. And the origins of it trace back to February 21st, 1952, when students from different schools gathered in Dhaka, in what was then East Pakistan, to rally in recognition of their mother language, Bangla. At that time, the government did not provide the opportunity for Bangla language students to be educated in their mother tongue, and the demonstration turned violent and students were shot dead during the protest. So every year on February 21, we observe to promote awareness of the linguistic and cultural diversity of multilingualism in honour of that tragedy. And Beaches East York is home to one of the largest concentrations of residents of Bangladesh in this country. So on Saturday we gather to recognize International Mother's Day, and I will wear my red Punjabi. And I've recently met with Mr. Rizwan Raham and Azim Diwan, who have launched a non-profit organization to erect an International Mother Language Day monument in the riding of Beaches East York, and they will reveal a new ward design in early March. So please join me in recognizing this important day, and join us Friday, Saturday for your own celebrations in your own ridings celebrating International Mother Language Day. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Further member statements. The member from Northumberland, Quinte West.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's my pleasure to welcome again Adrian and Draupadi Quinn from Cayley's Acres and their guests from Brand New Foods from my riding in Northumberland, Quinte West. The Quinns were here in late November when they received the 2014 Premier's Award for Agri-Food Innovation for Cayley's Acres. In 2009, they converted 10 acres of former tobacco fields into kale production, and then transformed these leaves into delicious snacks. These days, more and more nutrition-conscious consumers are reaching for healthy snacks. That's exactly why Cayley Acres were recognized with the Premier's Award for Innovation. They're producing kale in the form of chips, and they are delicious, Speaker. I'm proud to have folks such as Draupadi and Adrian Quinn with creative new ideas in my riding to help to keep our agricultural sector thriving, create jobs along the way. We're excited to have them back visiting us, and we're really excited that they brought bags of kale chips to all members of this House. Again, congratulations and a well-deserved prestigious award, and welcome again to Queen's Park.
I thank all members for their statements, and I also